Hello, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James, channel that brings you all your latest Rangers news. Now, look, we knew that the squad for the Champions League tie against Panathinaikos would be submitted last night by 10 p.m. I've got to say, I did go on the UEFA website just after 10 p.m. and then again at 11, and still no squad was updated there. However, Rangers have in the last few minutes announced their full squad. Now, it's worth noting that Bailey Rice, Finlay Curtis are not on this A-list squad because they count as part of that B-list. Teams who have can include as many academy players or who've come through their academy as possible as they want. Bailey Rice, Finlay Curtis certainly are part of that B-list and are eligible to play in the Champions League qualifiers against Panathinaikos and don't need to be included on the A-list. Worth noting. Well, the team as it stands, the squad as it stands is this. Jack Butland, Liam Kelly and Kieran Wright are the goalkeepers. The defenders are Max Aarons, Nasser Giga, Manny Fernandez, Leon King, surprisingly included after it was obviously strongly suggested that he would be on the move. John Suter, James Tavernier and Hjefte. The obviously most notable absence from that list is Ridvan Yilmaz. He has been left out of the European squad. Is this an indication that he will be on the move in the next few days or during the obviously during the ties? So yeah, that is a strong possibility given his absence and the fact that he is not in this squad. Hjefte is the only recognised left back. Now I know Russell Martin keeps playing Max Aarons out there, and certainly the concept of two right footers playing on the left absolutely petrifies me just to crowbar James Tavernier into the team. But Hjefte obviously is the only left-footed left back. Obviously no Clinton and Ciala either in that squad, as we know that he is likely to leave during this window as well. The midfielders are Thelo Asgard is included despite obviously the injury concern over him, so that's got to be positive news if he is included in the squad. Nadim Bayrami, Connor Barron, Lyle Cameron, Oscar Cortez, Mohamed Diamonde, Kieran Dowell is in the squad. I think as we all kind of said yesterday and we reported yesterday that Dowell is very much part of the manager's plans, that he is not just being put in the shop window for scouts to look at. That is not what the intention is here. He is here to be played, and that is why he is in this squad. Robbie Fraser is also included, a guy who can play left back, of course. JD Gassama, the latest new signing from Sheffield Wednesday, he is in the squad. Nico Raskan included and Joe Rothwell. I suppose the positives to take from that list is that obviously Nico Raskan is included. Diamonde is included despite the interest in the players from Betis and Besiktas, respectively. Obviously worth noting as well, Oscar Cortez, who's come back and has stayed fit, which is a surprise, is ready and will be able to play as well. Nadim Bayrami, obviously, who's had a bit of a rebirth. There's obviously no Rabbi Matondo, who is out injured currently, still with the squad. Obviously, that is one interesting name there as well. The forwards are listed as Cyril Dessers, Josh Gentles, Hamza Igaman and Danilo. Obviously, the couple of standout names there from that list is that Josh Gentles, the youth player, is included in the Champions League squad. This is fabulous news for young Josh. Love the fact that he's there. Absolutely love it. I hope he gets some minutes. It can only do good to have these young players included in this squad, and Josh Gentles certainly is absolutely outstanding. He's a great player and a player who I think can have a massive future with Rangers, and he's a homegrown prospect. And if he's someone who can come through and really impress and do a job for us up front, I mean, can you imagine how fantastic it would be to have someone who's come through our system, who is a Rangers man, who is an academy graduate, to come through and show himself? That would be absolutely phenomenal, wouldn't it? Hamza included as well, which again has got to be encouraging news as regards obviously keeping hold of him and keeping him at least for these two ties, which I think was always the intention, although him and Cyril Dessers are not fit. Danilo obviously in the squad. He's the one probably most likely to start out of that team, I would say, going forward, given the fact that obviously Dessers and Igaman are way behind the 8 ball in terms of their fitness. Cyril Dessers is included in the Champions League squad. I genuinely hope that he would have been gone by now, that AEK Athens would have come in. I've got to say, when I read that squad list and I saw his name on that list, my heart absolutely sank. I'm sorry, I know he scored goals last season, and 18 in the SPL, I'm sorry, is embarrassing. It's pathetic. You should be scoring more than that in a league as weak as ours. I just cannot like that guy. I just cannot stand. There's just something about him I just do not like about Cyril Dessers. Hopefully he doesn't figure at all in any of these ties. He's not a good centre forward. He's a very poor player. Hopefully, that Danilo starts, proves himself, which I think he can. I think Danilo is I honestly believe, if you go back across the career and you watch the video, he's 10 times the player that Cyril Dessers is, as is Hamza as well. But that's the squad, guys. I'd love to know your thoughts on the squad. What is your take on that squad that Russell Martin has obviously selected? Now, it's worth noting that any further signings that are made between now and Monday can be included. So by Monday at 10 p.m, Rangers can add 2 more players to that squad. 2 more to that squad if they sign anyone between now and Monday. Obviously, Connor Cody, highly unlikely, but obviously the Dutch central defender that was linked is a possible. Door Turgeman, I think, is another possible. Although I do think that the Turgeman deal is solely dependent on one of Hamza or Cyril Dessers leaving the club. Please, God, let it be Cyril Dessers. So, that is the situation as it stands. That's the squad. That's the team that from that squad, a team will be selected. I think if you put me on the spot now and said, Owen, what will the starting 11 be? I think you would probably be looking at Jack Butland. Back 4, John will be Tav, Giga, Suter, and Aarons. I really don't. You know what? If I was picking the back 4, I'd put Aarons at right back, Suter and Giga and Hjefte. I know Hjefte is not the best defender, but he's still a better player than James Tavernier. I would not play Tav under any circumstances in these games. But Tav will play, Tav will start, Tav will lead them out, Tav will be the captain. That's just life, isn't it? We've got to kind of accept that, no matter what you think of him. Whether you think that he's, look, I'm not gonna. He's been a fantastic servant for this club. Don't get me wrong. As a player, he's been a brilliant servant. As a player, as a captain, he's been one of the worst in this club's history. But as a player, he's been outstanding for us in the past. But he's 2 seasons past his sell-by date, and yet he's still being picked, which obviously leads to defence suffering. I think the midfield 3 will be Raskan, Dio and Rothwell. And the front 3 will be, if Asgard isn't fit, it will be Gassama, Danilo and Bayrami, I think, will be the front 3 for that first leg at Ibrox on the 22nd. That's just my prediction. I might be wrong. Let me know your thoughts. From that squad, what would your starting 11 be? Let me know. Not what you think Russell Martin will do, but what would you do if you were picking the starting 11? Guys, as always, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.